there, it won't be as noticeable. But sometimes it just like, oh, it totally blends in perfectly. This side, not so much. But it's cut from the same piece of wood, so the color should match pretty good. Yeah, yeah, it's definitely more for like a Fender style scoop headstock. Um, but you can put them on your tilted headstocks, but it doesn't really matter. This one isn't getting staggered. I think it's a pretty good feature to have on a Fender style headstock, though. So Manny, when you put those staggered on, do you still need to put string trees? Because I usually just put, like, I always do the vintage tuner, so I have to use string trees. On those staggered, do you still need string trees? Your electric headstocks are 8 degrees. Interesting. Um, Jaime just did a guitar with a 9 degree. I usually do between, I think this one's 13. But Bumstead, what's the reasoning behind the shallow angle? Or do you just like the look of it? Why do you do the an 8 degree instead of 11 degrees? Yeah. But you need the T's to keep the E and B down. Okay. Hey, plain old woodworking, how are you doing? I just finished this neck the other day. It's not finished, but the carving is pretty much done. Look at the look at that headstock. Oh, the CNC finished cutting. Willie, what's going on? I still have to clean this up and bevel it a little bit. Yeah, I still have to cut the truss rod slot. It is cut underneath, but when I glued the plate on, you can't see it. Who needs... My necks are so perfect, Manny. You will never need to access the truss rod anyway. Guaranteed. They're so perfect. No, so I still have to cut. I'll cut that out. They're humidity proof, exactly. You like the look of it? Oh, okay. I'll show you a difference. So Jaime is doing a very Terry, what's going on? Everyone's here. Jaime's doing something interesting here. I told him it was weird, but he did it anyway. So he bound the headstock like you see on acoustic guitars. And so that is a 9 degree angle. So Bumstead's neck angles are about the same, just a tiny, tiny bit shallower. So you can get away with this. I heard you can even do like, I think 7 or 8 is as shallow as you want to go before it's like there's no effect on it. But 7 or 8 degrees, you can still, that's still enough of a break angle to get the strings how you want them to be. So this is, I think this one is about 13. I do a little bit steeper. Some people do 11. Most of the time you see between 11 and 13 is you can do up to 15. After 15, it looks really weird. You can do as extreme like a lute. If you ever see a lute, it's like super extreme. You're not going to get any more effect from the angle. Like putting more of an extreme angle isn't going to do anything. So if you think like going past 15 degrees will somehow change, it probably won't. It'll just look weird, and it'll make it so your guitar absolutely cannot rest on its back without like stabbing in. And so usually this is about as extreme of an angle that you see on most guitars. That's about the same angle you would see on an Ibanez. So that's as extreme as I go. It is a party. Oh, nice. We're doing sales tax returns. Oh, yeah, for sure, CMC. Here in Vancouver, we don't have really huge humidity changes from winter to summer. We have a very consistent temperature, but if you live in a place where it's like really humid in the summer, dry and cold in the winter, that's going to do a lot to your guitar. So yeah, there'll definitely be lots of movement. You're in Halifax. Oh, nice. So I'm on the West Coast here in Vancouver, fellow Canadian there, but definitely out east. Out east has such extremes in temperature and humidity. It's crazy. The differences from like 40 below in the winter to 40 plus humidity in the summer. Like that's a huge change. So definitely keep your instruments in a humidity controlled room. Yeah. 8 to 9 degree puts about 10% of string tension down the nut to hold strings in place. Yeah, that's about what you need. Oh, you bought a Canadian company. Now you get to do Canadian taxes. Welcome to the wonderful world of the Canadian Revenue Agency. Anyway. No right or wrong way to do it. It's just preference. So here's the thing. Hayes, how are you doing? Karen, what's going on? Man, everybody's here. You guys, if you hang around long enough, you might get to meet my mother tonight. Her plane is probably just landing right now. Mother is coming to the shop, everybody. She'll be staying with me for a few days. My sister lives out here too. And so my sister was like, well, should we take her out for Mother's Day on Sunday? And I asked my mom if she wanted to go for dinner, and she was like, no. And so she used to work in restaurants, and she was like, Mother's Day is the worst day to work in a restaurant. It just brings me back memories. She's like, I don't want to go anywhere for Mother's Day. I'm like, fair enough, Mother. Too much PTSD from being the hostess at Mother's Day brunches and such. So anyway, so my sister will make dinner and we'll go over there. So, Sulfra, thank you for following. Also, 9-hour stream, Hayes. You're a maniac. You're doing your workout? Lift. Anyway. So, let me tell you what I'm doing. Yeah, that's the busiest day of the year for restaurants. Yeah, she said it was a nightmare when she was working restaurants there. So she's like, "No, I do not want to be in a restaurant on Mother's Day." And so it's like, fair enough. We'll just go check out some bonsai trees and have a nice dinner. My mom really likes gardening and pottery and bonsai, so this is the place. So we'll do that. But anyway, so probably in an hour or two. She might stop by tonight. We'll see. Anyway, I'm just going to put Jaime's neck back. Don't leave the dishes for mom. Yeah. I had to clean up last night. I was scrambling to get my place reasonable. Let me tell you, I've been taking care of Emmett by myself for the last week. And you know what? Rather than clean up after a puppy all the time, I think it's easier for me to just live like a dog than try and get a dog to live with me. That's my decision I made this week. So I'm going to, next time I chat with Megan, I'm just going to let her know that all of her training that she's done with Emmett, just forget about it. We're just going feral. It'll just be easier this way, you know? That's what she gets for leaving. That is a long one. That is a long stream. I've never done over 6 hours, I think. I think 5 or 6 hours is my longest stream. Hey, Sulfra. I'm glad you found us. If you are into guitar building, there's a whole group of us on Twitch. You're in luck. If you want, you can check out our Discord. Hey, Rage, what's going on? You can check out our Discord and see all the other streamers here. It'll notify you when they go live. But just keep hanging out on this stream, and I'll keep referring. Been lurking. How are you doing today, Rage? So yeah, if you're interested in guitar building, and if anybody is interested, I got some messages from people now that things are opening up. We do classes here at Pacific Wood Lab in Vancouver. So if anybody wants to go on a vacation in Vancouver and build a guitar, now is the time. Right now. 11-hour gaming session. That is tough. I don't know how people can do 12-hour gaming sessions a day, but, you know, they're pros, you know? Had to complete Tomb Raider. Nice. You want to go on vacation? Rage, you come up here. So, Sulfra, let me show you the guitar I'm working on right here. So this is a Buckeye Burl, ridiculous Buckeye Burl guitar I got here. Good. You need a break. You deserve a break, Rage. You deserve to hang out in the shop and build a guitar with me. Bring pickups. So Sulfra. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Yeah, check out Bumstead here is working on an acoustic guitar, so you should give him a follow as well. Yeah, exactly, Willie. And Vancouver's a nice place to go. So it's a nice place to, like, if you want to do a guitar building and then hang out by the ocean or go skiing or something. It works out. It works out. There's stuff to do in Vancouver. Yeah. Yes. Rage Guitars here. Rage Guitars. Give JB a follow. The Guitar Show Australia, Orbiter Guitars, Jer 2112, Asus Enthusiast. There's a bunch. We got a bunch on here. Joe Fever. Yeah, check out the Guitar Show Australia there. He's working on some beautiful guitars. Beautiful guitars. You have to follow all these people, but they're all in the Discord too. So, anyway. What I'm doing today, so I finished my CNCing. Let me show you what I did. Hank Bud, if you're not following Hank Bud, check out Hank Bud. He's okay. He talks a lot. His guitars are really nice, but you get Hank fatigue. Hank fatigue is real. Let's talk, everybody, about Hank fatigue. You know, it's a touchy subject for a lot of you, but it's okay to bring it up. I understand Hank fatigue. If you need a break, you can take a break. You know, you don't have to be here for 4 hours every other day. If you need a break, you take a break. Hank fatigue is real. Even I get Hank fatigue, you know? So just you know, stay healthy. Yes, Virtual Gopher as well. Yeah, there's a bunch. We got a good crew of builders on here. Oh, Mismatched Socks as well. Mismatched Socks does cigar box guitars. I got a big head. Great at sanding. Asus, what's going on? DJ Rockin' Raj dropped it even though the 8-ball said no. You're alive. That's good. It's good to be alive, Asus. It's good to be alive. It's good to be alive. How's it feel? Yeah, Socks does a variety. She does a lot of crafting, cigar box, just variety streaming, but her she does do instruments. She just had her 3-year streamiversary a few weeks ago. You're born to be alive. Yeah, there's a few. We got a few luthiers here on Twitch, which is really nice. When I started, there was only Socks. There was only Mismatched Socks. She's the OG. I started at the start of the lockdown, and then within a couple months, Immersive Sinner, Orbiter, Jer, Guitar Show Australia. Everyone kind of showed up within a few months. We started raiding each other, getting to know each other. It's been a really nice year. It's crazy that it's only really been a year. Like Manny just had his 1-year streamiversary in February. I had my streamiversary in September. So I've only been streaming a year and a half. So all of this is very new. So right now, what I am doing, Rage Guitars here also builds guitars. Sometimes he streams. Most of the time he mods. He mods everyone. Yeah. I do need... Okay, so when Rage is coming up this month. Rage is coming up May 20th. We'll do an all-day build. The delirium is better when you have Rage with you. Oh, you screwed up the CNC. Do a violin. Oh, nice. That's awesome, Timber. What's she going to make out of it? Yeah, it should be coming up. I should do my first 12-hour stream soon. Soon. I think I'm going to do a walnut telly. That's what I think I'm going to do. It's just a one piece walnut. Soon. There's no one Rage doesn't mod. Rage mods everyone. He was my mod first. Also, Asus, that walnut, the guitar that you're working on is looking really nice. That walnut top is really nice. Asus just posted that in the Discord. If anybody wants to check it out. Where is my pencil? So right now what I'm doing is I'm just kind of sanding that neck flush. There's still a little bit of a lip right there. I like to have it follow the whole contour there. I think that looks really nice. You don't mod Rock and Raj? Not yet. Why won't he let you? It is very pretty. You started it. You gave her some black walnut too? I love black walnut. I really like working with black walnut. Well, you know what, Hayes? That's what it's like at the start. When I started out, I had Rage. It was just me and Rage, just chatting. A lot of times I was sitting there talking to myself when I started for the first few months. If Rage wasn't there, hey, Dr. Big 79, thank you for that follow. If Rage or Megan wasn't there, I was talking to myself. It was nice having dedicated people there at the start, Hayes. You've streamed for 4 years. A big thing is consistency. I set a schedule 3 times a week, and I've been doing 3 times a week for almost a year and a half now. Hey, Slakaja, thank you for that follow. Slakaja. Yeah. I had Rage. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have Rage. let me tell you guys something interesting about Padauk. So I had never done a Padauk body before. I've done a Padauk ukulele before. Padauk is fairly dense. It's a little bit more dense than maple. I was surprised at how easy it sands. It sands really well. So that's kind of good news. Padauk sands really well. Downside, you have orange dust everywhere, and it contaminates everything. So keep that in mind. But for the most part, it sands really nice. Yeah. That's the thing is like when I started streaming, I actually started out just doing ukuleles, but I just did that. I didn't do gaming, I didn't do drawing, I didn't do any other art. It was all guitars just to keep it consistent. I didn't want to confuse my audience. The audience gets confused. They're like, who is this guy? What does he do? He just builds guitars. He just builds guitars and talks. Guitar building is my job. Talking is my hobby. Speaking of talking, I didn't have the podcast this weekend. We're going to do it this weekend. What are we going to talk about? What do you guys want to see? Rage, what do you want to see? What did you clip there, Rage? You wanted to do more sculpting? Hindering your progress. Just want to sculpt. On stream, go, go, go. Okay, what is this? Okay, what did you clip here? It says an error occur. Oh, here. If I didn't have rage. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have rage. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have rage. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have rage. I don't, it's true. It is true. Oh man, that's awesome, Timber. She bought a chainsaw and a chainsaw mill and chaps, and she's going to mill them down. That's awesome. Like an Alaskan mill? I need a mill. Yeah, the curves on the Strats are nice. I have two shapes. I kind of have my telly shape, and then I kind of have my my Strat shape. So these are my two main shapes that I do. They're not exactly Strat or Telecasters, but those are my two main guitars I build. The Big River and the Roya. Yeah, that. I feel the same way, Sulfra. That's why I made a smaller kind of telly. So this one here This one here is a short scale, and it's smaller than the Telecaster, because I find the Telecaster to be a little bulky too. I like the Telecaster, but there was room for improvement. So this is my kind of variant of the Telecaster. And this one is different. It has a short scale. So if you have like small arms and or a little bit smaller, this one feels, it's thinner. It's not as thick. So I totally hear you. So this one I feel is like, this is a really solid instrument for anybody who wants a Telecaster but finds the Tele's a little bulky. Yeah, I've had a lot of people like prefer this after playing it and being like, oh, it's like they like that Tele sound, they like that Tele look, but it's like the fret access is better on this thing. Everything, it's, you know, semi-hollow. It's really good. Tele-ish emphasis, yeah. Originally, this one we were calling it the Dad Rock. But I do like Teles. I do really like Teles. But anyway, lots of black walnut. Speaking of black walnut, this is all black walnut. Black walnut body. One piece black walnut. Black walnut neck. English walnut top. Asus, I don't understand those messages. I don't understand. Waylon Jennings, yeah, I'm a big fan of Waylon, so I think that kind of comes through. I wanted to make really, really good looking country style Teles, something that Waylon would play. I imagine a guitar, though Waylon kind of just played a classic butterscotch Tele. But he did play a Tele. Yeah. Well, if you ever need an instrument, or Sulfra, if you wanted to just build it yourself, you just come out here. Yeah. Like, that's the thing, is it's like they came up with the shape in the 50s and it worked. It worked really well. Like, that's the thing about the Tele, is they nailed it right off the bat. But the shape, it didn't have to be as bulky, and then they never refined it. It's a good shape. It's just a little bulky. But I just changed the curves. Let me tell you, this is how I look at it. Let me explain. I'll explain to you. Here they are, actually. Let me, side by side. So these are both walnut. There's your standard Telecaster body. So let me get this out of the way here. Get out of the way. There we go. Okay. Let's compare. Like, I'm not knocking Fender. I think they nailed it. But there's the two shapes. Now, if you look at this like if they were a person, look at this guy. That's a couch potato body. I've said this before. It comes out on the bottom. It's not a bad curve. It's not a bad curve at all. But it's kind of like, it's like a sack of potatoes that's like, you can, like, it's bulging out on the sides as it's sitting. That's how I see the telly body. It's a couch potato, and it's bulging out. It's like a guy with a gut, and then he has a belt on and his shirt tucked in, and it's like it's sticking out on the sides, right? That's how I see this was the body shape of some 1950s engineers. They made the body shape in their own image, is how I see it, right? Okay. Now this shape is more, pardon my genderizing this shape, but hey, the bear cubby, thank you for being here as I explain my shape. I see this one as far more of a feminine form, that it kind of looks like you can see a shoulder. It's like, it kind of almost looks like a woman's back with her shoulder up and some nice hips. That's more appealing to me as a body shape than this. That's a potato. That does nothing for me. This body shape does nothing for me. This shape I like a little bit better. So if you're wondering what the what the inspiration for it, yes, yeah, it's more voluptuous. This shape is more appealing. Not that it's like, it's just like that shape is more appealing to the human eye, and what is appealing is I guess form. Certain human forms are very appealing because of the symmetry and the shapes of them, right? Anyway, not knocking the telly. It's very classic, but you can see also the sizes side by side. This one is almost half an inch on either side wider. And you can see also, here's another thing. The other one is the dad bod. Exactly. That's what it is. Yeah. Looks kind of naked without the pank. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that offends anyone, these naked guitars. Oh, nice. Hey, happy birthday, Cubby. How old are you today? And what is your birthday present? The fret access. Even though this is smaller, this area is better fret access than this. Look at that. Like, you have only this much room, whereas, like I said, even though this one's smaller, you have way better fret access than try and put it in there. So there's a few little things that I did to the shape. This is a little bit smaller. That bulge doesn't really matter, but it doesn't need to be that big. The waist could be a little bit smaller, but the height, I believe the height, here's something interesting, is mine is, oh wait, no, because it has, the height is exactly the same. The height of these two is pretty much the same. So I didn't change anything about the height. This one looks a little bigger because I have a strap button on the bottom, but they're the same height. So I kept the same height and the same proportions so that anybody playing it, the bridge and the control cavity, they're all in the same place. So all the frets, where your fret access is and where it's joined on the neck, everything is the same. It should you should be able to still play it exactly the same and not be fumbling and being like, oh, the switch is a little bit lower. All the electronics is in the same spot. The bridge is in the same spot. So you just have a smaller body. Yeah, check out Karen. Karen was burning things this weekend. Anyway, Flamier. Anyway, that's my explanation for my design. If anybody ever wanted it. But it is very, so here's another thing is, if you want to build a Telecaster, you totally can. It's not that big of a deal. Fender won't really come after you, so you can do your own clone. I would recommend doing a variation of the headstock. You can do the same body, but if you don't want to get in trouble, people do Fender clones all the time. Don't worry about it. But if you do want to change something, I think you only have to change it like 10, 11, 13% or something like that. Like, you don't have to radically reinvent it, but if you want to just tweak a few things, because for me, this one is wider. The Tele is wider by about an inch. This one is about 12 inches wide. The Telecaster is almost 13. It might be 12 and a half, but it's definitely, this one is not as wide. I don't know if we can see. You can't really see it because it's like in front. Anyway, trust me. So let me get my cutout, and then I'll show you. I'll show you with my cutout in front of it. It's actually not. So now you can actually see how, it's actually not a lot of material. Like, the horn is definitely less. You can see it, like where I took material off and where I left it. Like, I didn't really radically change it a whole lot. It looks different when you have them side by side, but when you have them right up front, it's like, obviously the horns are different, but I just tweaked a few of the, it's still the same height. So if that gives you an idea of what I did, and that's enough. Like, that's definitely, I changed it more than 10%, right? So that's my own shape. So even though it has Tele hardware, that's enough of a change that it's a different instrument at this point. Yeah. So how was your workout, Karen? Hey, Bio Dragon Soul. What's going on, Bio Dragon? Anyway, that's my explanation. Is there any questions? Anybody have any questions? And then, in between sets, about to squat 150 pounds. You're a champ, Karen. You're a champ. I'm just going to, because Karen's working out while watching this, every once in a while, I'm just going to yell out, like, come on, Karen, one more rep. I'm just going to shout out coaching type comments. So don't mind me. I'll be in mid-sentence and just yell something out like that. Hey, Standing with Leather, you have a good evening as well. That's okay, Bio Dragon. Thank you for being here. What were you up to today, Bio? Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad you like it. If you're interested in checking out more guitar builders, I recommend our Discord. There's a bunch of other guitar builders on Twitch, and you can find them in there, and it'll let you know when they're streaming. You were making paint. Paint for what? Oh, sorry, did I miss it? I've been not keeping up with chat. I was too busy explaining my art. You got 34 brand new 2020 TLC 5G cell phone. Nice. Congratulations, Bear Cubby. Wonderful birthday. Thank you for using your birthday present now on this stream. A Husqvarna 562 XP. Nice. Is that the chainsaw there, Timber? Karen Day is my hero, for sure, Willie. Karen inspires us all. Come on, Karen, one more rep. Dig deep. More energy. I'll just yell out, more energy. Homemade watercolors out of natural pigments. Nice. That's really interesting. So Bio Dragon, thank you for that follow. For traditionally in guitar building, they would dye the wood. If you wanted it black, they would dye it with vinegar black, where you use like vinegar and you dissolve iron in it, some steel wool, and then as it oxidizes it turns black. But you can use different sorts of natural pigments with like vinegar, like beets and stuff like that to dye woods. So I think that's really interesting, using natural pigments to make paints and stuff. There's so many different things you can use. That's the one she bought? That's awesome. I've been thinking about getting an Alaskan mill, as all people do. I was hiking up on the North Shore here, and there's a bunch of fir trees that have fallen over, and I'm like, if only I had an Alaskan mill, I could really, really mill that stuff up. Speaking of dying, Orbiter, what's going on? This headstock and the body is pressure dyed Buckeye burl. So that is wood that has been pressure dyed. Can we get a shout out to Orbiter Guitars? Another person you should follow is Orbiter. He was streaming on Sunday. I was lurking a bit on his channel. He's a guitar tech from the Bay Area, and he was working on a bass. He's a good guy to follow for sure. Rage also mods his channel as well. So, and he is super sexy. You say that to all of us. That's why you're all our mods. Not to you. You never say that to me. Yes, a great streamer for sure. Orb, check out this. That's because Rage doesn't want it going to my head. Anyway, I got this Buckeye Burl. Yeah, this is a ridiculous build. Absolutely ridiculous. And I got a Padauk and maple neck with bird's eye maple bound in Padauk with a little blue strip. So soon, this is very close. I'm very close. It's going to have all chrome hardware and Padauk body, Padauk headstock. It's chambered to lighten it up. Soon. So that's hopefully towards the end of this week. It should be close to being sprayed. So this is going to be a showpiece guitar for this summer. We're going to be doing some open houses. I'm not going to be going to any guitar shows, not this summer, maybe in the winter, but definitely next year. I'll probably start doing the guitar show circuit at some point. But this is going to be a showpiece one, just because it's so pretty. Padauk is, yeah, Padauk. That's how you spell Padauk. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, so we're going to have an open house in July. Not Phonetic, no. So I kind of want to have a showpiece guitar. So that's what this one is. So I'm taking my time. Actually my dad is getting me some custom-made pickups from Saskatchewan. He met this luthier in Saskatoon. He took my guitar in. Actually, he was taking his Les Paul in because he didn't like the humbuckers in it. And the guy they took it to showed him some pickups that he made. And my dad really liked them. He's like, hey, I'll get you a set. You should try them out. So I'm like, sure. So I'm going to try them out in this one. Apparently, they're pretty good. I trust my dad. So they're going to be some nice hand-wound pickups. So that's what's going in this one. I'm keeping it all Canadian, except the wood. But I've been having a real hard time in Canada getting Seymour Duncans from the distributor here. So I'm kind of like fed up with them and their nonsense and having to wait 8 months. It's really annoying getting Seymour Duncans in Canada. There's one place that is the distributor, and they are at the bottom of the list. And so whenever I order stuff from them, it is actually a pre-order. They don't actually have anything in stock. So once they get enough orders, then they take it to Seymour Duncan and place their order. So it can take like 6 months sometimes to get them, which is just ridiculous. And I cannot, as a Canadian customer, Seymour Duncan doesn't let you order from their website. So I have to go through third-party shops in the States to get them, which then I have to pay import duties on. So it's just a real pain. Let me tell you about my struggle. So anyway, I'm kind of done. If I can get them, I get them. If a customer wants them, I'll order them off Reverb or something. But it's been a real pain. Yeah, it's supply chain. I don't know if there are supply chain issues or if everybody's just using it as an excuse for poor customer service, because the customer service with Cosmo has been atrocious. So, and they just are like, oh, yeah, we just don't help people anymore because of COVID. And it's like, COVID's over, man. Like get me what I need or I'll go somewhere else. So I'm going somewhere else. So I'm going to try and find local winders that do really good stuff. And just be like, you know, hey, I got these guys, these Canadian winders. They're really good. If you don't like them, I'll get you some pickups you want in 8 months and install them for free. If you don't mind waiting 8 months, you know. Very frustrating, very frustrating. I'll have to get Rage to smuggle them inside him. Rage, hoop some pickups and come across the border. I don't know why it flagged fetish there. It's an excuse. It totally is. What's my opinion on guitar fetish pickups? I don't use them. They're too cheap. So I'm not saying that guitar fetish pickups are bad. They have a bad reputation. I'm not telling anyone not to order them because they work. And I'm sure some of them, like, they probably sound fine. But if I put them in my guitars, they would probably turn some people off. That's the problem. It's more about the perception that guitar fetish is seen as cheap. And so when you build a custom guitar, it would be a real turnoff to have guitar fetish stuff. So I'm not too familiar with it in that regard. But I will tell you, if you want medium range, mid-range, decent pickups that aren't as pricey as Seymour Duncan or Lawler, the Tone Rider P90s, the vintage Tone Rider P90s are good. The vintage Telecaster set is good. Their humbuckers, I wasn't too impressed with any of their humbuckers, but I can totally recommend Tone Rider P90s and Tele sets as good bang for your buck. You get a really good set. In fact, I tried the Lawler P90s, I tried the Seymour Duncan and the Tone Rider and the $35 Amazon P90s. We did a test. We tried all the different P90s from like cheap, no-name Amazon, Tone Rider, Seymour Duncan, Lawler, all those, and they all had their own sound. None of them sounded bad, honestly. They sounded different. The Lawlers were definitely, they were a little grittier. There was a lot more going on with the Lawlers. There was a lot of interesting sounds that were there. There was a lot of tone and texture to them. The Seymour Duncans were very bright and clean. They sounded really good as well. The Tone Riders were very clean and have a bit of bite to them, which I like. Probably because they made them with Alnico 5 magnets, which I don't know if they really count as P90s then, but they're made with Alnico 5s. And then the cheap Amazon P90s, they sound like P90s, just dirty P90s. So it's like, honestly, you cannot go wrong with P90s. That's my opinion. P90s are just going to sound like P90s. So it's like, you can spend a lot of money for a different tone, but there's a lot of, like, what makes them kind of unique is just kind of like, they're so simple in how they're made. But humbuckers, I find, are a different thing. Like, good humbuckers, you got to pay for to a certain degree, in my opinion. Yeah. Yes, I need to get. I would get some Orbiter. Well, Rage is winding pickups. Jer got a pickup winder, and Orbiter just got a pickup winder. Iron Gear, UK based. Yeah, it gets kind of tricky when you're importing from the UK, because then you have VAT taxes as well. I don't usually import from the UK. Though actually Tone Rider is UK as well. Bare knuckles are awesome. I really like bare knuckles, but you pay a premium for those. Like humbuckers, I really like the bare knuckles, but I don't like paying for bare knuckles. That's the problem. Yeah, if you want something inexpensive, like that's the thing. I'm not saying the Tone Riders are great, but they're not bad. For their price point, they're some of the best mid-range pickups that you can get. I like a lot of, like I said, I was originally going to put a 59 and a JB in that one because the Seymour Duncan JBs are awesome. The 59s are awesome. But that's just what I've come across. One of the reasons I don't do a lot of humbuckers, though, and the reason I like the 59 and the JB was it's very versatile, and my guitars are not very Gibson-esque, and I really like the vintage Gibson sound, but my guitars I feel like are not vintage Gibson-y, and so if that's a word, I really like the, some people say they're a gimmick, but I actually like the antiquities. I like the Seymour Duncan and antiquities. I think they sound great, but they don't really fit with my guitars. So I might have to do a new shape, you know? Yeah, you can't go wrong with the 59 and the JB. That's kind of my default when I don't know what to put in it. It's just like you can do anything on it. You want to do metal, you want to do jazz, you want to do rock. Like it's just so versatile. The 59, the JB is hands down if anybody wants a recommendation for a really good combo, is the 59 in the neck and the JB in the bridge. And it's a solid combo. It's very versatile. Three RCs on your head? Oh man. Are you okay, Hayes? Clones of the Fender wide range humbucker. They're pricey. That's the thing, is like you kind of like, I'm not complaining, like you pay for quality. Like I don't have a problem paying for Seymour Duncans. But it's like, that's what I found is like the humbuckers, you have to drop a lot of money to get the humbucker sound you want. I really like the Lawler Telly set. The Lawler vintage Telly set are, in my opinion, like that's the sound I like for a Telly. But I'll put Tone Riders in, and if somebody wants to upgrade them, that's fine. I also like the Seymour Duncan vintage Telly as well. Like all those ones are really nice. I have a set of those in another one of my guitars, and it sounds really good. It has more of a mellow kind of bluesy sound to it. That might be because it's Alnico 3s or Alnico 2s, I think. It depends. But I'm pretty good at gauging Telly pickups and P90s. I'm not so good, like I know what I like with humbuckers, but I'm not so good at being like, oh, this is what you want or that. It's kind of like, I'm not as familiar with all the humbucker stuff, but I know what I like, and it's all very expensive. But sometimes you gotta do it, you know? Stabilized wood. Do you mean like resin infused wood, Dangler? Oh man, just a complete collapse of your entire Air Force. But there's also, I think, another thing is just kind of like things have gone pretty standardized depending on like what you want. Like I've done Duncans, humbuckers on some of my guitars. Like I said, very antiquities, PAFs, like just classic Gibson sounding stuff, which in my opinion, always it just sounds good. All that stuff is kind of worked out. I've put some EMG 85s in one. Very nice, like metal sound. The Lawlers are super nice. Like I can't say anything bad about Lawler. I think the Imperials are really good as well, depending on what you want. Really depends. But also, it's like when I'm doing a telly, for some reason I always kind of gravitate towards the vintage. I fall for the vintage meme. I'm like, oh yeah, that nice warm sound, right? But the telly Tex-Mex pickups aren't that bad. Like honestly, it sounds like a telly. You know, so worst comes to worst, if you put some Tex-Mex in there, it sounds just like a telly. So it's kind of like you can go for more customized, hand-wound stuff, but it's like the stock stuff isn't that bad, really. Like it's not like, oh, that's, you know, unless you want something very specific. I built one guitar for somebody who's doing some recording, kind of math rock, kind of jazzy math rock. So I threw in some telly noiseless pickups just so they'd just be super clean, and she could just add all the effects that she wanted onto it. And it's like those were fine for that purpose, for recording. Because recording, sometimes you just want them as clean as possible, and if you want to add all the stuff, you kind of add it all in there. So it also depends on what you're doing, you know? Some guitars are better for recording than others, you know? For stabilizing, what are you doing, Dangler? What are you planning on doing? So, like, you want a wood that won't... All wood will warp. Some woods, it's like as long as it's dried, it's not too bad. If you're stabilizing like burl or something, then it's like, yeah, like if it's really soft and porous, then you'll stabilize. Like this Buckeye burl had to be stabilized, resin infused, yeah. So this is Buckeye burl. I'll show you. Like I have some resin infused. So this is Buckeye burl that was infused with resin and then pressure dyed. Buckeye burl works really well for that. It's very porous, very soft, and it takes the dye, takes the resin really well. So burl you'll have to stabilize. Burl is same with like maple burl or any of that. It's very soft. There's lots of holes in it and stuff like that. Yeah, it's dry. Yeah, don't worry about it. As long as it's dry, you should be fine. You don't have to stabilize. You only have to stabilize like burls and things. You don't have to stabilize regular wood like maple and stuff. Anyway, it'll be interesting. I'm really looking forward to... I should get a pickup winder as well. If Orbiter, everybody's making pickups now. Rage is making pickups. Jer, Orb. I want to sample them all. Rage is going to bring up some humbuckers he's been making in May. So I'll get to sample some Rage pickups. And I would totally just be down for supporting people I know and locals. You know, if you can wind good pickups, like I think Orb was talking about that, where he was saying that he finds the younger generation isn't quite as brand oriented as the older generation. If I'm misquoting you, I apologize, but we were kind of talking about that, and I think there are certain aspects, like some people are super brand oriented. They're like, it has to be Dunkin's or it has to be Bare Knuckles. And then other people are just like, it just has to sound good. And they don't care what brand it is. They don't care how their ice cream is made as long as it tastes good, you know? And I kind of fall under that category too. I really like Lawler, but I'm not saying that Lawler is the end all be all of pickup winding, though I definitely follow suit to Lawler in how to wind pickups. But it's not like Lawler has some magic ability and only they can wind the pickups like that, you know? You just have to follow certain fundamentals, you know? Yeah, pickup winders are fairly cheap. Oh, it's no problem. No problem, Dangler. So I am not too familiar with. I don't know if I can give a good recommendation for a Strat. I'm not much. Strats are probably something I'm least familiar with as far as the 3 single coils. So I'm sorry. I don't know. It's Orb. Are you still in chat here? I don't know if he's still here. He would know. I'm just going past the buck. I'm going past the buck on to someone else. Okay, Orbiter, what would you recommend for a good noiseless single coil for jazz funk for Dr. Big 79 here? Do you have any recommendations for a good clean Strat set for jazz and funk? See, this is why I like Orbiter. Orbiter has decades of experience over me. He's heard it all. He knows it. So I'm more of a woodworker. So take it all with a grain of salt. I have my opinions about pickups and my ear and what I like, but I'm definitely not the end all be all. And when it comes to guitars, it's like there's a lot of people with experience, but I don't really believe there's like authorities. I think there's just a lot of like informed and uninformed opinions. And I hope I don't sound like I'm too informed. I'm still learning. I'm learning every day. But a lot of my opinions, I try and base them on my own experiences. So when I recommend pickups, like that's why I can't really recommend Strat pickups, because I can only recommend what I've heard and what I like. And I think that's one of the advantages. When you do repair work, I know this with Mare doing repair work, you come across so many instruments when you do repair work. And if you do repair work for a long time, like you literally have seen it all by the end of it. And I think that's a great way to kind of just get experience with all these different pieces of hardware. I've just, whatever we build in the shop here, whatever comes in, I see it, but I only work on a few things. I'm very good at building my guitars. The latest Fender noiseless Strat pickups are surprisingly good. Yeah. So like that's the thing. I haven't tried the noiseless Strat, but I have tried the noiseless Tellys, and I've put them in, and they're good. They're nice and clean. They're not bad, and the price point isn't bad either. Like they're a good price as well. So go with that. Give that a try. listen, check it out. Like, you can listen to demos, which can be kind of like, that's also another problem, is when you listen to people demoing pickups, it's kind of like, yeah, but what equipment are you running it through? So it's really hard to gauge, but listen to a bunch of different stuff and you can kind of get a feeling for like what something will sound like. You should also give Orbiter a follow here. You guys, Orb is a guitar tech from California. You should check out his stream. He's very knowledgeable. Let me tell you about wood. Let me tell you about the wood. I learned something. Just followed. Awesome. Also, he's got a really nice voice that you can just listen to. I was working on my posters and a bunch of artwork for my like just promo stuff this weekend, so I wasn't chatting. I had him on, and then I had Matt Burrows on. So I was just like following the train on Sunday, but my hands were tied. But I'm always there in spirit. Anyway, this is what I need. I need a P90 set, a Telly set, and a humbucker set. That's all I need. I need a P90 for my Roya semi-hollows. I think that just sounds, make them. That's what I need, Rage. I need a P90 set for my Roya hollow bodies. I need a nice Telly set for my big rivers. And then I need a good humbucker set. Again, it totally depends on the player, but you know, when I'm kind of building instruments for spec, I kind of want my guitars to have a certain sound, and so obviously I can throw humbuckers into any of these things, right? But sometimes it's kind of like there's a certain voice a guitar should have, and that sounds kind of weird because it's like, well, why say that this should sound like that or this? But it's like, I don't know. I just find it kind of weird. Are you grabbing your neck?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right there. It just seems weird to me when I hear that Gibson sound coming out of a Strat. Like, it just is like, no, it's not right. You know? You like them? Yeah. Well, I'm glad Orbiter was here. So, I'm working on a new shape, everybody. Good news. I got a new shape I'm working on. It's not a Les Paul clone, but it's kind of a variant, kind of similar to what I did with the Big River. It's going to have an angled neck so that I can put, I'm not going to put tunamatics in it. I really want to build a guitar around the Hipshot Baby Grand bridge, which is kind of a tunamatic style bridge. I really like it, but I don't like it on some guitars, right? I really like that bridge, and it's a very unique looking bridge. I'll load it up. I'll show you what it looks like. You can put it on a Les Paul and it looks fine, but it is a very unique looking bridge. I'll just load it up here so you guys can see what a Hipshot Baby Grand bridge. I'll find a picture of a guitar with it. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, why? Why doesn't it open image? There we go. Let me load that window up. Just give me a second. There we go. So there it is. It's a really nice looking bridge. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a tom bridge. It's just very interesting looking. You don't need the two, it's not a wraparound bridge, but it's kind of a wraparound. It's kind of like a tune-o-matic with its own tailpiece built in. It's just a very interesting looking bridge. I really like it, but I feel like I have to kind of make a shape that goes with that bridge. What do you need? The leveling beam? Is it on the wall? I don't know where it is. It's probably, oh, it's right there. It's on the shooting board on the right there. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm working on a shape. It'll be kind of similar to my other ones. It's going to still be around the same size, and but it's going to be a little bit different, kind of in the same way that this one, is kind of telly-esque. This one's kind of a super strat shape. It's going to have kind of a different cutaway than the Les Paul. It's going to be not quite the same, but similar. It'll kind of have Gibson vibes a little bit, but more modern, very modern. All these words mean nothing to you because you can't visualize what's in my head, so I'm not going to. Anyway, I'll give you the specs. I want to build it around that Baby Grand. I have a design that would look good with that shape. It's going to have a tilted neck. It's going to have 24 frets and really good fret access. It is going to have my headstock, and it's going to be a semi-hollow as well. So it's going to, yeah, and it's going to have humbuckers. It's going to have Gibson kind of humbuckers in it as well. So it'll be kind of my take, because I haven't done any kind of Gibson style, but it's not going to be a set neck. It's still going to be bolted on. So it's going to be, it'll be interesting. You'll see. It's not really a Gibson. It's going to have a tilted head, or like the tilted neck and stuff, so that I can put tune-o-matics on it. All the rest of mine are flat. You can't, and I don't like to shim them. But anyway, I got plans, big plans. I got new shapes. I got 2 new shapes I'm working on. So I'm going to start prototyping those at some point. Oh, nice. Good info. Anyway, so I gotta finish up this one first. All my energy is going into this one right now. So I'm just doing like the little finesse sanding on the volute here. Just getting all those rasp marks out and getting everything kind of evened off. This is my main priority, getting this one done. Got a lot to do, but I had a little bit of inspiration the other day looking at those Baby Grand bridges, and just let's see if I can do a shout out to Amp Mods. I think that's, yes. There. I don't know if does AmpMod stream? I don't know if he streams. I see him in chat on other channels and stuff. Anyway, the main thing is getting this thing done. This is the thing to get done now. But I have to get the perfect volute, everybody. Here, let me shift over here. Let's get some volute sanding. Yeah, he's in all the chats. You'll usually see him on Orbiters or Hemmel's stream, or he's around. He's around for sure. Keep an eye out for him. So Sunday, check Orbiter's stream on Sunday. That's usually when he streams. So you were streaming today, Orb. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you found us, Dr. Big. If you're into guitars, it's a really nice community. Lots of knowledge being shared. Lots of different people just doing their thing. Oh, you're doing pinball stuff today. Well, that's another thing. I never mention to all the pinball enthusiasts. It's like, oh, you got to check out Orbiter's stream for the pinball. We'll have to do a pinball talk and get Megan. Megan Roya is really into pinball as well. She went to the pinball museum. I didn't even know there was a pinball museum. She was telling me all about it. She was there for 8 hours. I was like, how can you be in the pinball museum for 8 hours? And she's like, well, I had to play all the pinball machines. That's how. Oh, it's easy. Well, I've never been. Rage has never taken me to the pinball rules. Yeah? How come you never taken me to the pinball museum, Rage? Okay. Someday would be cool. I don't know if it's a thing. You've been to that museum too? Of course you have. I don't know if it exists. It might exist, but you know how you see streamers playing that marble game on their streams where everybody gets a marble and it's just a physics game and it rolls it rolls down and there's a winner. And it's just like a fun little stream game. If there's ever a pinball version of that, like a pinball streamer game where everyone can get named as one of the balls, that would be an amazing thing for Orbiter's channel if he ever got a pinball game in the chat where you could be in the game as the ball. That would be amazing. Rage, you're the mod. Figure it out. Yeah. That sounds like a mod duty. Last ball to drain wins. Exactly. Well, you should have been listening. I'm giving you good ideas here, Rage. Rage, you need to find a pinball game for the stream, for Orbiter stream, where everyone gets to be one of the balls. Like those physics games, those marble games that the streamers play. I don't play them. It's nothing but sanding here. But this is how we get the perfect volute. Let me tell you the art of the perfect volute. Now every time I'm carving a volute, I talk about my love of the volute. Some of you might be getting tired of hearing about my volute love, but let me tell you, if you love volutes, you never get tired of them. Come here, Emmett. Come here, Emmett. Come here. Come here. He's getting bored. He's getting bored. Emmett's bored. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, Emmett. Just wandering around the shop with nothing to do. Sounds lame. You're not. Fine. Fine then, Rage. Don't let me tell you how to party. What new and exciting things can we do on the channel? Anyway, so I use a rasp a lot for my carving. When you use a rasp instead of a blade, you have to be really careful for rasp leaving scratches in the wood. So it's always good to have like really good lighting to be able to see if you have any scratches. No, I'm okay, thanks. Bill has these handmade rasps from France. The best rasps in the world. He was showing me, they're so nice. They're very even. Let me show you. I don't know if anybody will be able to see these rasps, but these handmade French rasps for the finest luthier. I don't know if it's... they feel really nice. I don't know if you can really tell, like, if you hold up this... Aru? Yes. Yes, that is what they are. Are you familiar with that brand? Rage. So Rage is familiar with it. Aru? They are amazing. Rage, the violin maker, agrees with your rasp choice there. Nice.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah. I don't have them. I just look at Bill.
I have another few if you need any, for the time being.
Well, I finished carving this actually using a Shinto rasp and these Stumac rasps. Ario. Yeah. You would like Bill, Rage. Maybe you'll meet him when you come up.
I've got all the toys.
Yeah, he's got all of the toys, all the wood. He's building a classical guitar right now and a Telecaster. So he's just finishing up his neck as well. A walnut neck for his telly he's working on. Oh, you have met him. Oh, good. So, let me tell you, if you ever wonder, they're like, wow, Hank sure sands a lot. Let me tell you. It doesn't matter what tools you're using. Some of them are better than others. There are differences in, so like those rasps that Bill is using are very even, very easy to work with. They take off material very evenly and they don't tear out the wood as much. So they don't require as much finishing as I need to do when I use like saw rasps, and then I'm just using these. I think you can get these at Stumac. These are like their rasps, which work. They work fine. But just remember, you're going to have to clean up a lot more. So you can use janky tools like me. I'm not using the fanciest tools, but that means I have to go in and fix all the little things that the tools leave behind. Like the tools actually cause a lot of the problems and stuff. So, or like the scratches and things. So. Oh, are you streaming, Raj? Raj, wait, before you go, I have a question. I have an iPhone repair question. Raj, my power button doesn't work anymore. I push it, and nothing happens. The phone doesn't turn off. How do you fix that? Oh, he's just like, why? Why? So how do I fix that? It's not turn. I'm pushing it and the screen isn't turning off. How do you fix that? Raj fixes iPhone. Oh, what is it, Emmett? Do you need to go out? Do you need to go out for a walk? I took him on a walk before. He gets kind of like this now. Have you forced rebooted it? No. Is it a software issue? What is it, Emmett? What is it? Emmett, come here. Emmett, what is wrong? Are you not getting enough attention? Huh? What are you whining about? Why am I still here in the shop, he says. Why don't we go and run through the woods like we did the other day? It's an SE. It's an iPhone SE. Yes, that's right. I'm still rocking the iPhone SE, and I'm going to rock it until the end. Poor Emmett. He has to sit here. He's like, why do you just sit at that desk making messes? I want to run. Man, does he want to run. So Megan is in Ontario now, and she's going to be there for a few weeks. So it's just me and Emmett partying every night. We go for a run in the morning. We go for a run at night. Except we didn't do that today. That's why he's a little anxious. He didn't get his morning run. I have to get in shape now because he wants to run like really fast. Yeah, it clicks when I press it. I thought, well, I didn't really have a choice. She was like, I'm leaving Emmett with you. I've been modding your channel for 1.5 years. You'll take care of my dog for a couple weeks. Fair enough. I would take care of your dog too, Rage. Your puppy. Hey, Dicel, how are you doing? I don't hate cats, but I'm not really a cat guy. I don't mind dogs. But like I said earlier in the stream, it's becoming more apparent that it will be easier for me to live as a dog than for Emmett to live with me. So I'm just going to, it'll just be easier. We just get one bag of food. We can share. We can just sleep on the floor in a big mess. It'll just be easier this way. So I will live like a dog. And my life will be easy. Rather than being like, hey, get that out of your mouth. Hey, stop chewing that. Hey, stop doing that. I'm just going to be like, this is how we live now. Why fight it? Why fight it? He convinced me. It's like, no, this is how you live. You just do whatever you want all the time. I'm the puppy, is what he says. I can have your dog. Won't your kids be sad if you just give the dog away? I thought they wanted that puppy. Everybody wants a puppy, but nobody wants a dog. Tari, how are you doing tonight? Anyway, right now what I'm doing oh, he just wants attention. That's what he wants. Meow. You hate the beagle. No, you don't. You love the beagle, Rage. Take a toothbrush and rubbing alcohol, turn phone upside down, scrub along the button, blow, dry, compressed air. Okay, I can do that here. You would eat it if it was legal. That's what I threatened Emmett with. I'm like, you do what I say, I could eat you right now. And he knows that. He knows, deep down, Emmett knows I'm bigger than him and that at any moment I could just eat him if he displeased me enough. Right, Emmett? Right, Emmett? You're not in charge here. I'm the human. I'm the alpha predator. Maybe I'll take him for a quick. He probably has to go out. Anyway, I still got another hour to go. How's that neck coming along, Bill? Oh, I think Emmett needs to go out. Bill, you handle the stream. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Come here, Bill. Here, I'll show you.
Okay.
There's the chat.
Okay.
Show. Can you read it?
So who elected you dog sitter? I don't know.
Yeah.
I actually have a dog. I have a Havanese. He's quite a small dog.
Oh, down, Emmett. You can talk to Rage.
Oh.
Rage will chat with you.
Yeah.
Rage, you handle the stream with
Yeah.
Bill. I'll be right back.
So I have a whole set of these these rasps, and that's what I use for making my. So this is a walnut straight quarter sawn neck with East Indian rosewood fret. And hopefully I'll have it finished the next month or so. I don't have the top, unfortunately. It's sort of buried somewhere in the bottom here. Henry's going to finish it for me. He's going to use the CNC machine to cut the body. So this is, yes, this is electric. I'm having difficulty with this streaming because I'm trying to read all the streaming chats at the same time. But the body's going to be walnut with the figured maple top, and layered in between is cherry, which is going to be interesting. It's an interesting combination. So this is the top was made from a figured maple that I picked up up here in the Sunshine Coast about a couple of years ago. A fella who was actually cutting down, who was going to a lot of the building sites and telling them if you need to cut down a maple, a western maple tree, he said he'll just take it and he's got a little portable sawmill that he takes and he just cuts it up, and all the wood he has, especially the bigger pieces, he just makes big conference tables out of, and he sells it. He does quite well. He sells them for quite a good price. So what else can I say? I'll be the first one to tell you that I've never played a guitar, so this is going to be interesting once it gets together. So I'll need to learn, but I do know how to build play a ukulele, so that probably helps me a bit, and my first ukulele build was right here. It was a Sitka spruce top and Eastern rosewood side, and it sounded really great. I mean, it was amazing. It's a tenor, so it's bigger than your traditional smaller size ones. But he was and
Okay, we're back. Thank you, Bill. That didn't take too long.
I don't. Yeah, here he is. He's back.
I'm back. Thanks.
I hope I didn't screw up your streaming.
What happened while I was gone?
You lost all your.
All the viewers. No, they probably gained more. Here, let me see this. Emmett, get down. So, this is Bill's. That's really nice. Nice quarter sawn walnut. Emmett, I just took you out. So this isn't the body, but it will go into. Emmett, sit down. So, Bill is also going to do Emmett. Yeah, he does. He didn't get a good run today. So, Bill is going to do something very similar. Do you remember the other guitar I made with the spalted maple? He's going to do a telly with the same top that he gave me that wood, so it'll be the same as that other one. But anyway, that's what it's going to be. It will be a walnut body like this, but it'll have a different top, and it will be a thin line. It's going to be chambered.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just be cleaned up a little bit. I think the size is good. Let's see what we got here. 21. Yep. 21. Oh, perfect. Perfect. So the thing with carving a neck is consistency, and just getting it like consistent all the way down. So this is nice and even all the way. So now this can just be cleaned up a bit, and just your volute, you just kind of need to go in with some 120, and I would just go in and get this all nice. There's a few little rasp marks on the transition there, and I would just do the rest with 120 because it'll clean it up, but it won't take off as much material. But it looks.
You're doing a good job there, Henry.
Yeah. Let me say I like doing the volutes. So you just need to go in. You could, if you're really careful, I put a smaller spindle on the spindle sander, and you could take off that, or you can do it by hand.
I do it by hand.
Okay, that's all you have to do then, and everything else is looks pretty good. Yeah, I think that's about ready. So we can start doing the body soon. It's a nice looking neck. And then that's like the hardest part is the neck. You still have to radius it, but I would just clean it up a little bit. And we have to do the transition on the top, kind of sand that. And then, yeah.
You're gonna help me do that?
Yeah, I'll help you. Don't do that part yet. I'll do that part with you.
So I'll do this.
Yeah. Make sure you don't make that nut width any thinner than it is.
This one here?
Yeah, just go right up to the walnut. Just take off the rosewood, but don't take off the walnut. Because that's already a 42 mil width.
Okay. Do a little bit more?
Yeah, just there's always a little bit more. A little bit more. Anyway. Neck carving. The thing with neck carving, when you're carving a neck by hand, what is the biggest problem that you will find is that little dips in your neck. So you need it consistent all the way across. Little dips, maybe you won't feel it as much, but you should be able to take some calipers before you radius the fingerboard. So both Bill and I are doing 20 mil from the fingerboard to the back of the neck. It gets a little bit thicker in here, and obviously it thickens up here, but for most of the neck, it's about 21 mils. That's before this has been radiused. So that'll be sanded down a little bit more as well when you radius it, right? So 21 is a good thickness for your neck. You can go thinner. I wouldn't recommend going past 19 unless you have a really good low profile truss rod. I just recommend low profile truss rods regardless. But keep it at about 20. 20 is good. 20 is good. I make mine a little bit chunkier. 21 I find is a good radius that people are used to. If you do the profile right, you don't really feel that it's that thick. But it actually has more to do, not necessarily with profile or with the thickness, but how you do that profile, how you bring those sides in. And there's different shapes you can do that. Obviously, like you see the different C shapes with all the different neck carves and stuff, where it's like this shape here, that shape there, kind of thing, that you can use like templates to carve that neck if you want a very specific neck carve to spec. I don't do that. I have a feel that I try and replicate each time based on my hand. My hand is my template. I'm pretty good at getting it consistent and even. That's the one thing that I would say I'm very good at. If I was good at anything, if I was to grade myself, if I gave myself a report card, I would get an A for neck carve. I would probably get a B- in my electronics, there's room for improvement is what would be written. It's like he's doing good, but there's room for improvement. My sanding, A+. I think there's always room for improvement. Fretting, I think my fretting is good as well, but it's like there's always room for improvement when it comes to fretting, Oh man, just sleep in the mess. That's what I do, Hayes. Just roll with it. Live like a dog. Be free. Yes, so you don't want to go too thick. That's why I really don't recommend going past 19 millimeters, because keep this in mind. depending on the truss rod you have, so I'm going to use metric here. I'm sorry. Sorry to all the Americans. So, oh, why is it deciding to run an app right now? Okay, my computer just did something weird there. Anyway, so a truss rod is usually, I'll just convert, is usually about 0.35 inches, which is about 9 millimeters. So but I've seen truss rods be as thick as 11 mils, right? Yeah, I'm going back and forth. I'll just convert because I have my calipers here. So I'll just go in back and forth. Okay, so your truss rod is 0.35, right? Now, when you measure this neck, this is 21 mils right now. That's 0.83. 0.25 of that is your fingerboard. Your fingerboard is usually 1/4 of an inch or about 6 millimeters, right? So you have to subtract that from the overall thickness of your neck with the truss rod. The truss rod is sitting right under the neck. So you have, if you have a 9 mil truss rod that's 0.35 inches. So let's do some math here. Let me show you how much material you have on that neck. So it's like it was 0.83 minus 0.35. Oops, 0.83 minus 0.25. So that's 0.58, right? Minus 0.35. That leaves 1/4 of an inch of material. That's how thin, that's how much material. So you have 1/4 of an inch. If you do 21 mils or 0.83, that leaves you with this much material between your truss rod and the neck. So if you went thinner than that, you're looking at maybe 1/8 of an inch of wood between your truss rod channel and your neck. So it can start getting really close if you don't have a low profile truss rod and you want a really thin neck, like 19 mils or something. You can get really close. If you dig out the head of the truss rod too much, you just dig out you will sand through there. You'll carve through there. So you got to be really careful about how deep is that in and how much material. So that's why I say, like, don't go past 19 mils. You can do it if you make your own truss rods and they're super low profile. You can do it. Some people do super thin necks. They reinforce it with carbon fiber or steel rods and stuff. But anyway, I'm just saying, play safe. 20 mils, 21 to 19 is a really good thickness. That's standard. Most necks are coming like that. Yeah. Inches and decimals is weird. I'm sorry. I'm just using my calipers don't have the fraction on it. How are you doing, Rhino? Rhino, I figured it out this last week how I'm going to do the tailpiece on your ukulele that will actually make it easier to string your uke. So you won't have to do the tying. If you guys have ever tied a classical guitar or a ukulele, it's not hard, but it is kind of a pain to do it. So anyway, I've come up with a design that's, it's not revolutionary. It's just like, it's a fairly common design, but a way that I can do that floating bridge and basically just tie a knot at the end of the strings and just run it into a slot, and that should hold it. So it'll actually make stringing the uke easier. So good news. I figured out the tailpiece and how to make it your life easier. Yeah, there's a lot of tension. There's about 100 pounds of tension on the neck. There's a truss rod in there. That's why maple is used a lot. Maple is very strong, so keep that in mind. There is a lot of tension there. So it has to be a certain thickness. But like I said, you know, you're not reinventing the wheel. This has been figured out. What tolerances work. You can, like I said, with modern materials like carbon fiber, you probably could go a little bit thinner and get away with it. But we know what thicknesses work, so you don't have to go crazy on there. But some people like a really, like again, some people like a really thin, flat neck. And if you have a thin, wide fingerboard that's flat, like a 20-inch radius, and you can do your shredding. You can do all that shredding. My guitars are not exclusive. Are you out of here, Bill?
Yep.
Okay, we'll see you around.
Yep.
Okay, Bill's out of here for the day. Thank you for taking over the stream there, Bill. Yeah. Anyway, the profile does a lot. Not necessarily the thickness, but that profile can change how it feels. So even though this is kind of a chunky neck, how I do the profile on the edges, it's very comfortable. It's very comfortable. This wouldn't be a shredding guitar. If I was making a shredding like type of instrument, I would do the neck very different. This is more of a rhythm instrument. It's not necessarily a lead. You could play, like, you can play leads on anything, but I see my guitars a lot of times as like kind of rhythm instruments. Everybody makes the lead instruments. I make the rhythm instruments for those guys. The lead guitarist has the fancy guitar. He's going out there doing his thing in the tight pants, bobbing his head. All the people are screaming for him. Rhythm guitarist just there in the background, just keeping time. Just keeping time. Just doing what he's there to do. Every once in a while they throw him a bone. You know, he gets 2 songs in the set where he gets to go out there and do his thing. But then he's always pushed to the back, you know? And let me tell you something. I care about that guy. I care about that guy. And I believe the rhythm guitarist should have a guitar just as fancy as the lead guitarist, okay? He's playing guitar too, and he's working hard, and he needs a comfortable neck to chord. He's chording hard, and he needs a neck that will do the job. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. That's the kind of guitars I make. The working man's guitar, the rhythm guitarist, the working man, the blue-collar musician of the music industry. I've never done a compound radius. I usually do 12s or 16s. Yeah. Somebody will appreciate my guitar someday. There'll be somebody. Somebody will appreciate this. They'll come up and be like, Hank, on behalf of all the rhythm section, we thank you. Everybody forgets about us, but not you. That's why I do it. also, another reason, let me tell you, is I do a lot of fancy wood, obviously, like you see the fancy wood that I do. I don't, I keep my stuff pretty standard, like 12-inch radiuses is pretty standard, unless somebody specifically asks for something else. Like I do the Dunvegans with Will, which are metal guitars, you know, I'll carve a 19-inch neck, do a flat fingerboard on it with a wider nut and all those things. Like I can do it, but it's kind of like I make kind of, I wouldn't say generic, but very standard layouts of my guitars, but just very nicely. Like I take very standard specs and just make it very nice. Like just cut a really nice, get a really good neck carve for like just a standard kind of Fender style neck. But I don't like the Fender profile. There's something weird about it. I don't know what it is that I like. The modern ones are better, but like I really don't like the vintage ones. But even the modern ones, there's something weird about them that I don't fully like. It could be the finish. I don't know what it is. It might be the finish. Like they just feel kind of sticky. There's something kind of that I don't really like. Which is fine because I really like the Ibanez necks. But I don't make Ibanez guitars. I just make Ibanez necks. I make Ibanez necks onto Fender guitars. Because that's what the people want. You've done 10 to 14? Fair enough, Hayes. You've been grinding today. You have a good night. You gotta get 3. You need more than that, Hayes. But you have a good night. We'll catch you again. Yeah. Except it's not radius. Like, okay, imagine an Ibanez neck, but made in Fender spec. That's, if that makes sense. That's what I would say my neck is like if Ibanez made a Fender style guitar, but like did the Fender spec, but carved it like an Ibanez. Yeah. I'm still on for another hour or so. It's kind of funny. Maybe I'll change over time. I can't really say like this stuff is, there's things I like, and I think that's a good way to go about it. You don't really have to reinvent the wheel. If you do have an innovative idea for guitar building, every once in a while somebody has a vision for a guitar and they just build it and it works, you know. Sometimes it doesn't. But if you have like a guitar that you kind of like and you're like, oh, I really like the neck carve, and you want to like do building, just try and replicate the stuff you like, because there's probably a reason why you like it. It probably fits your hand really well. So it's like, that's kind of how I work. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it as a technique to be like, oh, just use your hand, bro. I-bander. Yeah, I make I-banders. Yeah. Well, but like, that's the thing. That's just what I gravitated towards, like to what felt good in my hand. I'm not a huge fan of the Ibanez bodies. Like, they look cool and stuff. I just like the necks. I just like the neck carves. I think they're ridiculous.